Hello there everybody, this is Krista and welcome back to the Krista Chronicles, and today I am doing a very fun comparison video. So, I have here the Green Witch Tarot, the Tarot of the Witch's Garden, and the Bee Tarot. And I put them completely back in order so that we could flip through them side by side, because I think I mentioned this in another video, but sometimes, of course, like certain decks will have a similar feel, and when that happens for me, I really like to put them side by side in order and kind of go through them card by card in order to compare them. For one thing, to see, like, okay, are they actually really similar? In effect, like, do I need both? But also, in the sense of how do they differ? Because I like all these decks. And so I don't necessarily, my goal here is not to get rid of one, but doing this will differentiate them in my head, because sometimes I just kind of have this idea of the feel of certain decks and my brain just pairs them up. Even if they are, do have enough differences. So by doing this, it kind of just reminds me and just, puts a new thought in my brain basically around what's going on with certain decks, and in effect sort of like pulls apart that pairing and differentiates them so that I end up using both again. And so this really started with the Tarot of the Witch's Garden and the Bee Tarot, because it's no secret, I've been obsessed with the Bee Tarot. I love it so much. And my brain just naturally started comparing it to the Tarot of the Witch's Garden, but I haven't had this deck out in quite some time. And so I wanted to put these two specifically side by side to really see if, like, okay, they do have a very similar feel to me, or, again, by doing so, it will separate them out in my brain again. But then I was also thinking, like, oh, maybe also the Green Witch Tarot kind of could be a similar feel. I kind of wanted to just put all three of them side by side. I have a feeling by the end of this, it's more going to be a situation of differentiating them, but we shall see. I hope some of that made some sense. But regardless, I think this is going to be fun. So, let me get these decks out and we will begin. Okay, so I have them in the same order as before, but just to recap, Green Witch Tarot, Tarot of the Witch's Garden, and the Bee Tarot. Now, right off the bat, from putting these back in order, what I noticed, I guess I should also say that the Bee Tarot is the one I've been using a ton in the last few weeks, and both the Green Witch and the Tarot of the Witch's Garden I probably haven't used in months. Yeah, I haven't used them yet. Both, these kind of feel like spring-summer decks, and I haven't used either of these yet this season, because I've been working with this. So, there's going to be some kind of, if you're someone who works with either of these decks a lot, some things I'm going to say are going to be like, well, yeah, obviously that's what the deck is all about. But this is just me remembering, re-experiencing. Anyways, from putting these back in order is the Green Witch Tarot very much has kind of I'm hesitant to label it this because I do not know much about this, but it has kind of like a Wiccan-inspired feel to it, question mark. Definitely kind of like witchy, pagan theming. And I say that in that this one has a lot of cardery names and, no, that's it, cardery names. Where Tarot of the Witch's Garden, to me, feels more like a true RWS clone, themed around, kind of like fantasy gardens. And then, of course, the Bee Tarot is themed around bees. But again, it just these kind of all started mixing in my head. So anyway, let's get started. So as we can already see with the Green Witch, we've got the Green Man. This looks like a very classic Fool, and then we also get a lot of renames in the B Tarot, so the Keeper. We've got the Witch, the Magician, and the Magician again. Yeah, so see these two really get that classic magician feel. Interesting though, because now I'm kind of seeing how much fantasy we get so far in the Tarot of the Witch's Garden versus the B Tarot really does kind of stay in real life, I guess, for lack of better words. We've got the High Priestess, and the Melisai, which I love this switch in that. I love all of these cards. So good. I'm kind of wondering too if there could even be something interesting to do using all three of these decks. I kind of like seeing them side by side. Alright, we've got the Earth Mother for the Empress. The Empress and the Empress. This is one of my favorite Empress cards right now in the B Tarot. Isn't that so beautiful? These two, I mean, I like them. They're fine. I don't feel very strongly one way or the other about those, but I love that one. The Horned God, Emperor, and Emperor. I don't know how I feel about that. I don't love a whole, like, bee beard moment, but I don't, it doesn't bother me necessarily. I think it's cool. I like the concept behind that when it comes to the Emperor, of kind of having this sense of control that's not freaking him out right now. So again, you can see we get a lot of, too, like the classic symbology in the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. The High Priest. I love that Hierophant. And there we've got the Delphic Bee. Interesting. And see, the Green Witch Tarot, to me, takes on a bit of a fantasy feel as well, but not, I don't know, but it's different because it's not really fantasy. It feels like, it's people partaking in a magical practice, like, that I feel like you could see, that people actually do. You know what I mean? I don't know. Interesting. The Lady and the Lord, the Lovers, and we've got the Honeymoon there. These two have a similar feel. Interesting. The Battle Wagon, Chariot, and the Barrow. Yeah, okay, I'm starting to feel like why I like the B Tarot so much is because, and I guess I just didn't really necessarily notice, or not that I didn't notice it, but didn't really think to specifically point it out, or, no, I guess really take notice of the fact that the B Tarot very much is kind of like a modern real life world, which is cool because usually I do not like those, but it's done in a way that doesn't feel jarring to me. And the Tarot of the Witch's Garden is really, like, it's fantasy, so I think there could be something interesting there in terms of using the B Tarot. To me, that's like walking into my own garden. where this Tarot the Witch's Garden, I think it feels detached from a garden that like I could have or that I could visit because it's in this fantasy world, but I think there's something, but I don't, it's not a bad thing. And then the Greenwich Tarot, it's one, like, I really like this deck, but I never use it, and I think it's something that, it's a thing that something about it confuses me, and I don't really know why. We've got the Crone, which I love for strength. Strength and strength. How beautiful is that? We're like, I keep readjusting these. So sorry if that's so annoying, but I just feel like it's not staying where I wanted to. Okay, good, good, good. I love this strength card, though. The Holly King. Hermit and Hermit. Cool, yeah. Yeah, the Fantasy Garden one, or not Fantasy, oh my gosh, the Witch's Garden feels, it's almost like a more so, feels like the garden I can visit when reading books, which I love. Wheel of the Year, Wheel of Fortune, and the Wheel. How beautiful is that? I had a circular herb garden last year, but turned it into my rose garden, which I'm very pleased about. But I would love to have something like that again, but a bit like more official. Or one of those herb spiral gardens. So pretty. Standing Stone. Justice and Justice. Oh, how cool is that? With the bee sting. I almost feel like with the Green Witch that perhaps I really need to just read through the guidebook. From start to finish. Just to kind of like really understand where it's coming from, perhaps. The Oak King, Hanged Woman, and the Hanged One. I mean, very similar feel. I love that for Death. Lord of Shadows, Death, and Death. Wow, it's so funny. Until I do something like this, there's things that are so obvious about the deck, but I just don't take notice to. And it just didn't really occur to me how set in the real world the Bee Tarot is. We've got the She for Temperance. So good. Temperance and Temperance. But then it does things like this and brings in these mystical bee beings. It's very interesting. That's a great Devil card, Nature. Devil and the Devil. Oh. I mean that too, right? The Wild Hunt. The Tower. I forgot to plug my camera in. Oops. It's cool how all of these, it's like they have it on the, kind of leaning to the left. Interesting. Wow, pretty star. All of these are so pretty. I love the star card. I feel like it's always so beautiful. I don't like this Sun card though. I don't get it. I feel like it doesn't fit. Maybe that's just me, but I don't know, I just don't feel like it fits. I do love how we get all the different kinds of bees on that one. That's so fun. And I like that one. Harvest, I love that idea for Judgment. And the renaming to Rebirth I think is really good too. Cool. I love this one. I really do. Oh, this is getting me excited to really honestly about all these decks. Alright. They're all doing very much same. I love that it's these frogs going on their adventure. That's so funny. See, now in getting into the minors is where it starts to feel more like, where it starts to feel a bit more similar, I feel. See, but then that one takes still a bit more of a different lean. Yeah, see, I feel like that this is kind of where they start to all turn a bit more kind of true RWS. I love that card. I feel like that's just doing something so different. Very interesting. Well, these are definitely giving us something different than the usual Eight of Wands. This one isn't, except for the fact that I just love, we do get this snapdragon detail, and I want to say that the book does give us something about that, which I do really like. I want to say too, actually, though, that the Green Witch does go a bit more numerological, so that is something to note for sure. And then even that one doesn't necessarily feel totally Nine of Wands to me in terms of RWS, so that's interesting. Look at all the pollen on his legs. So cute. This one we have Princess and Prince instead of Page and Knight. And then this is where the minors I feel really get fantasy. Some of the other suits are more fantasy feeling, but then the court cards really are. Which is, this one to me, it's kind of like, it's not fantasy, it feels still kind of like real life magic, but almost in like a historical fiction kind of way. This one feels fantasy, and this one feels more so real life garden. And I don't even know that the Tarot of the Witch's Garden really feels so specifically garden energy to me. I think maybe that's something too about it that perhaps I should consider. I'm almost feeling like I need to, I mean, I keep calling it fantasy, and I think it really would serve it better for me if I just slotted it as a fantasy deck rather than a garden deck, because I don't really find that it is. I love that Queen of Wands. I just like that we get some age on both of them in the Green Witch. Okay, we got the cups. Cool. All right. I'm pretty sure these are all very similar, yes. Which is okay. Yeah, interesting. It's almost like, again, I feel like I just keep repeating the same things over and over, but this is me just processing. Where it's like, this is real life garden, this is like real fantasy, and this is almost to me kind of more historical fiction, maybe slightly, no, I would say definitely historical fantasy. Ooh, which is one of my favorite genres. And so I think it's feeling helpful in my brain right now. These are getting so separated out. This is amazing. But I feel like I'm looking at these in such different lights. Like, it makes sense to me why I'm so obsessed right now with using this as my morning daily draw, because my routine every single morning is I get up, feed Stevie first, of course. She wouldn't have it any other way. I get my tea brewing. While I get my tea brewing, I go out to my garden and I water my plants, see what's going on out there. And then I come in and pull my card. So it makes sense that I'm wanting this as the morning draw, because it feels like an energy similar to what I see in my yard. Where maybe these, it's like I can use them as either when I'm just in that mood, or if I'm reading a book that's in that genre. Interesting. Ooh, so similar. But they do have different feels right now. Interesting, interesting. I keep saying that, so sorry. I love the fairies we get in this cup suit though. And how cute is that card? Isn't that interesting that he's got what seems to be a caged canary there though? Yeah, I'm feeling like still, as of right now, these all have a place in my collection, especially since these are so my vibe. I didn't necessarily think that there wasn't room for all of these, because this is my favorite kind of topic, favorite style, but they were just starting to feel the same in my brain. And this is definitely helping. Look at their bee costumes. Oh my gosh, that is so cute. Yeah, see how we get so fantasy in those? I love this water horse. This, though, it has an interesting switch between modern world and this Greek mythology lens, but it's not jarring. And it's kind of cool to, it feels more in a way of how we ourselves can see and experience those ideas still as well. That's more what it feels like to me. I love that Ace of Swords. That might be... It's definitely one of my favorite Ace of Swords, if not my favorite. Look at the mouse. He's so cute. This one is very different, which I like. These are, you know, they're your classic Two of Swords. Yeah, see, I'm definitely taking on a more numerological thing. Classic. Look at that cat, so cute. Such a cool idea with the woodpecker. I really do like how the Bee Tarot uses plants. I will say, and another reason why it feels so much more like a true garden deck to me is because it uses a lot of plants intentionally and talks about it. I love the skunk showing up there. And another woodpecker. So good. Yeah, I think I need to just read that Green Witch guidebook, because numerology, I can't say that word, numerology, oh my gosh, is not familiar. I'm not super familiar with it. I'd like to be. And I mean, that would probably go for any deck. Reading the book front to back would make you bond with any deck, but I think that'll really do the trick for me with this one. I love that page. How beautiful is that? All of these are so good. I love the Swords Court in the Tarot of the Witch's Garden. That blue color is so pretty, and how pretty is she? Okay, then we got the Pentacles. My favorite suit. I really like all of these Ace of Pentacles actually, but that Bee Tarot one with the honey loaf, so good. I really like in this one how there's these storm clouds in the background. I think that's so neat, but I do love this one a lot. I don't love that this one shifts us into winter. It's like the rest of the deck is so spring summer, and for something like the Bee Tarot, I just don't think there's a need to make it an all season thing, because the bees are not out every season, you know? So I think that's my one thing with this deck, is like getting this one and maybe the Five of Pentacles too, but there's not a winter scene really anywhere else, I don't think. And so it's just kind of like, well, why? I'm sure it's talked about in the guidebook. I have pulled this card, I don't really remember it, but it's just one of those things where it's like, did we really need to make it include that season? I love the trellis here. So good. Are they those snowflakes or? No, I think it's rain. Okay, so that one card I feel like is the only place we see snow in the Bee Tarot. It's just like, why? For what? How good is that? I love that. Like, this is how I want everything in my house to look. I do like in this one how it shows that classic waiting for something to grow, but how she's got this card reading laid out. I do think that's very cool. Oh no, there's another winter scene, but this one makes sense to me. Because it's this thing of like selling the preserved aspects of beekeeping, or preservable aspects of beekeeping, and selling it in the winter months as kind of this way of like, you know, we're still waiting for that season to come around, but we can enjoy this. And it just doesn't feel as stark to me. Oh no, there's winter again. Oh, sorry, I take it back. That is so interesting for the Nine of Pentacles though, isn't it? I need to read that. Because usually that's where we get that lush garden scene. And to have it be a card that doesn't when the rest of the deck has a lot of that is so interesting. Gonna have to read that one. Oh, there it is. Oh my gosh, I'm such a big liar. There's winter again. I love that page. I like the courts for, or the Pentacles courts for this one are the bees, which I think is interesting. But that has to be my favorite. So good. And the Kings. So good. Okay, I'm so pleased I did this. Because now these are definitely a bit more differentiated in my head. I'm seeing, I mean, really a value in continuing to own all three, really. I don't really feel like there is necessarily overlap. Which is exciting. I'm excited to really get into all three of these again. So I hope that was enjoyable. This is a really fun process. I like doing this. This was recommended to me by my friend Andy with some other decks that I was feeling the same way about a couple months ago, and now I just do it all the time whenever I'm feeling like, ooh, are these kind of the same? I mean, also like kind of this or that style with from Lisa Papez. It's so fun and so helpful to do that. So anyway, yes, I hope you enjoyed that. And I hope you're having a great day so far. And I'll see you again very soon.